this last year when you know, in the pilot season for actors, sort of busy time, you know, and you know, my agent sent me all the scripts. I wrote back a separate email just based on this and said, this is the best thing I've ever read. I would be thrilled to be an extra in this thing. Like, just let me be a part of this somehow.
Right.
And the writing was so good. And that was before I even knew who was involved. It's just been, for me, just a whole sequence of unbelievably fulfilling and satisfying surprises. I think that... here they are. Andrew Lincoln, ladies and gentlemen, Andrew Lincoln, Richard Grimes.
Now, in the comic book, you die pretty early. Obviously, you can't tell us the spoilers, but how did you feel approaching it with the fact that you get this character's doomed?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's sort of where, you know, like I hadn't read the comic and I read the script, and again, was completely blown away. I said, wow, you know, and then, you know, actually getting the job, like, you know, quadruple wow, you know, and then reading the comic and like, wait a second. You know what I mean? But you know, look, I think
he's not alone there in the fact that there is a quick turnaround in a lot of the characters.
A lot of
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a rotational cast.
It is, and you know, look, there's things. There's things in the book that we stick to, and there's things that we don't, and you know, I think that the comic offers this unbelievable template, you know, and it's our job to sort of fill in and add things and take away things, and I think it's not going to be just a simple, it's not going to be a simple sort of diagram of the comic, you know, it's we want to surprise the fans, we want to satisfy the fans, and we want to shake things up a little bit, and I think we do that. And having Robert involved really helps us with that.
He's very enthusiastic. I'm sure Andy's hoping he gets to keep his hand.
Yeah, it was a concern. You're right. When I got the gig, I got the compendium, and I hadn't read that far, and I went, "Who's the guy with? Is that the stump and the thing?" Didn't mention that during the meeting, but yeah, it's
in the fine print of your contract.
Yeah, it is.
Although, I mean, the timing is funny. I mean, you know, we've shot 6 episodes and it takes place over about 4 days, maybe 5 days, and so it's hard to get a sense, really, I think, for how long it could take to get to that point.
Yeah.
Are there going to be, you know, I don't know if we're going to necessarily even adhere to like the timeline that's in the books, and so, you know, who knows, it could be years before that happens, or it could be season 2 episode 1.
Right.
When it was the breakdown came via my agent and it said AMC, I went, yes. And then it went The Walking Dead, I went, that's a great title for the show. And then it said it's a zombie survival horror, and I went, right. And but then when the people obviously were involved, you know, the immaculate Hollywood cast, you know, of producer, director, you know, Greg Nicotero, you just name it, you know. I mean, I suppose it was only when I read the pilot episode that I just got it. I just went, oh my God. And I started reading the graphic novel then. I was surprised, and it's rare to be surprised at any point in my career, and it did things that I really didn't expect. I kind of anticipated the exciting, the thrilling, the horror aspect, the action aspect, but I didn't think necessarily that the wittiness and the humour, and also particularly Morgan's story, which was the reason I did it.
I read the pilot episode and felt physically ill and didn't sleep for 2 days. I'm not a genre person, and I sort of thought, I'm gonna be tired at the end of this thing. Like, I'm gonna have nightmares, and I still do. We wrapped August 19th. I still have nightmares about twice a week, and so my anxiety was based less in like, is this gonna be somehow less because it's genre and more, you know, am I gonna be medicated and in therapy by the time we're done shooting, which is still possible.
Okay, well, aside from being able to sleep at night, what are the challenges for the actors in a program like this? Or this is the only program like this. What challenges does this show bring that other acting jobs haven't brought you?
Yeah, I mean, practically just filming in Atlanta. Have you guys ever been to Atlanta in summer? It's brutal. And it was all on location.
In the apocalypse, you don't go indoors.
Yeah.
And when you go indoors, there's no air conditioning.
Yeah.
Right. So.
I mean, just making it real. That was the big concern for me, was making the world be as truthful as we possibly could make it. And that means that we have to work harder at making the emotions ring true. Otherwise, we don't sell the zombies. You know, everybody works together to make the rules of the show work. You know, if we get the emotional content right and big enough and strong enough, then hopefully we carry people with us.
You know, sorry.
No, please.
Also, I was gonna say it was freaking fun, man. I mean, it was really,
Yes.
really fun. You know, like challenges, like, you know, like we weren't. Look, there's snooty ass punk actors out there, like, oh, you know, Todd, I gotta go. It's like, it's just that, you know, Frank. Everyone, you know, you're working for Frank, man. He's a freaking man, and like everybody who's around him is so psyched to be there. We're all psyched to be there.
I mean, I threw myself under a tank.
You know what I mean?
He worked his ass off.
My wife said at the end of the job, she said, "You've quite literally worked your ass off." You know, I walked through bodies of dead bodies. You know, it was a wild trip. This one. I mean, like nothing out there.
But really, I mean, I was basically going to say the same thing. I've never, yes, there were special challenges, I suppose, but I mean, you know, like being scared out of my wits most of the time.
Yeah.
But this is one of the best experiences I've ever had. I mean, I've never seen so many people give so much of themselves with such courage and grace and lack of ego. I mean, because if you're gonna, say if you're gonna do this, I don't know what that is. You're gonna do that.
Right.
You've got to be willing to look really stupid. You've got to be willing to look terrible. You've got to be willing to take risks. You've got to run off the cliff as fast as you can and kind of go, what? I'm going to fall or I'm going to fly. Because you can't half-ass this. You can't try and be like, well, let's make sure we all look heroic and
Yeah.
you know,
Get my
let's
good
try and
side.
look pretty. Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
None of that. And to have so many people willing to take that risk was beautiful. From the crew up, I mean, the people who cooked breakfast in the morning, from craft service, up to the executive producers. Gail Ann Hurd was out there in the heat with us, I think, every day, virtually. I mean, except for the day she sent her daughter to college. There was such a sense of community being involved in this, and I'm in awe of the work that everybody's done. It was an honor. I'm a better actor for having worked with these guys. And
Coming here in San Diego, you know, and you see the fans and how much this means to people, it's like, you know, we really want to do right, and we really want to do right by everyone, and hopefully we have. We you know, like he said, we worked our asses off, and I think everybody cares, you know, everybody really cares that the fans, I mean, it's a really loyal fan base, and we want to do right. We want to do right by it.
And we're now of their number. I mean, I'm a fan of the show, I'm a fan of the film, so I want us to do this right for me too, because I dig it.